we were holding him as our main suspect, and of course, we wanted to question him.
A web of lies and DNA evidence leads police investigating a Saginaw girl's murder to a house just 2 doors down. That's where an officer was shot and seriously injured exchanging gunfire with their suspect, a 17-year-old known by neighbors as a troublemaker.
He wasn't someone that you would be comfortable, like I said, living next to or around.
The news leader, broadcasting for all North Texas. Fox 4 News starts now.
Well, there's a lot more information now about what happened to Alana Gallagher now that there's been a capture of her teenage neighbor, Tyler Holder. Hello, everybody. I'm Heather Hayes.
I'm Steve Eager. It's 9 o'clock. Besides the murder, the arrest warrant affidavit says DNA evidence also shows that Holder raped that little girl. And when police went to arrest him this morning, he answered the door, according to them, with a gun.
And during a shootout, Arlington detective Charles Lodato was wounded, and Holder was shot in the head. First tonight on Fox 4 News at 9, Brandon Todd in Saginaw with the child sex assault, and also, Brandon, the murder investigation. What's the latest?
Right, exactly. We are learning a lot more about the death of Alana Gallagher, specifically the cause of death. According to that arrest warrant affidavit, the little girl was suffocated with plastic bags. We're also learning a lot more about the suspect in this case, who lives right back behind me in this house, that investigators are still tonight searching. They're conducting a search warrant here. Not only is this the home of their suspect, but we have learned, obviously, as you mentioned before, that this suspect is the little girl's neighbor. Fox 4 cameras were there when first responders rushed to a home just 2 doors down from the parents of 6-year-old Alana Gallagher. Detectives are seen in the front yard quickly calling 911. A task force was trying to make an arrest in the nearly 3-week-old murder case, and as they did, an officer was shot.
Officers engaged the suspect at the door. An altercation ensued. The suspect produced a weapon, and shots were fired.
The officer, Arlington detective Charles Lodato, was shot in the leg. The suspect is 17-year-old Tyler Holder, seen here in pictures from Facebook. He was a neighbor of Alana Gallagher, and the teen was almost immediately a suspect. According to the arrest warrant, neighbors told investigators Holder was a troublemaker who had been involved in criminal mischief in the neighborhood.
It wasn't a surprise because a lot of the neighbors said that, they kind of not pointed the finger, but they said that they needed to watch him a little more closely.
And detectives did watch him closely when Alana Gallagher's body was found on July 1st, wrapped in a tarp in the middle of the street less than 2 miles from her home. Her family had already been looking for her. Once word spread that a body was found, Tyler Holder, according to detectives, slipped up when he was talking to the girl's neighbors. According to the arrest warrant affidavit, Holder was telling them the body recovered was that of Alana Gallagher, which had not been revealed yet. Police questioned him, but Holder's alibi was flimsy. The affidavit says his story was that he had been fishing all day. He also said he went to look for a job, but after investigators looked at home surveillance footage from Holder's neighbors, the affidavit says Holder claims he left his residence to fill out an employment application, but his vehicle had not left Babbling Brook Drive on July 1st. Then, just this past Saturday, the medical examiner got the DNA results back. Not only did the autopsy show that Alana Gallagher had been sexually assaulted, according to the affidavit, Holder's DNA sample matched the DNA from the victim's body, as well as matching the DNA swab from the buckle of the belt recovered at the crime scene. After so much anticipation from neighbors here, hoping the 6-year-old's murder would be solved, today's arrest was welcome news.
That is awesome. That is good that they're finally putting ends together.
All right, back out live just a few minutes ago. I knocked on the door of the Gallagher home, just 2 doors down, and no one answered the door there, so we have not yet heard anything from the parents of Alana Gallagher about this arrest and shooting today. Now, the affidavit, Steve, goes into some more detail about how the girl's body was found, including having her hands and feet bound with red duct tape. The importance, of course, of that is that yesterday detectives in that affidavit, apparently they picked up Tyler Holder's trash here that was out on the curb. They inspected that trash, and in the trash, Steve, they found red duct tape.
All right, Brad, let me ask some questions about some of the news stories that we've kind of put out. Remember there was a mention of, I think, a red pickup truck and a couple of black on black cars, different things like that. You know, the family's vehicle was torched. Any of those things lead back to Holder at this point?
Well, at this point, the search warrant affidavit doesn't mention any of that, and investigators have been somewhat silent today other than to basically rely on the information in that search warrant. So we don't know that. We don't know at what time Alana Gallagher was actually snatched or kidnapped or taken. We don't know where she was killed. We don't know when she was killed. All those details not included so much very specifically in that arrest warrant affidavit, something that hopefully we'll probably find out later. Steve?
Brandon Todd Black, thank you.